want to talk about Carry the Vision, and I want to thank you for being here with us. And perhaps, Dolores, you could just say a few words about what carrying on the vision of nonviolence can mean in our lives and in the world.
Well, we know that in our world today, we almost have a culture of violence, and it's accepted and it's promoted and it's profit making for many people, whether it be in terms of war, whether it be in terms of hate speech, so that some people can have power over others. And so, Carry the Vision is a conference that where people can come together and they can share ideas and practices about how to combat this whole culture of violence that we are living in today's world. And we know that people's natures are not violent to begin with, that violence is something that is taught and it's behavioral, and that it can be changed. And so Carry the Vision brings together the leaders of this community here in Santa Clara County so that we can share and say, this is how we can change it. And it's not difficult. It's not hard. It takes commitment. It takes learning. It takes listening. And, we are all one family, one human family. And we know that if we can somehow combat the culture of violence here
Yes.
in Santa Clara, in our United States of America, then we can also bring it to the rest of the world.
We can. Thank you. And I just want to comment a little bit what you said about, we are not naturally violent. A baby is not violent, but, children learn violence in our culture growing up. And so if we want a nonviolent culture, if we want a culture of peace, we have to educate for nonviolence. And this is what we do here, bringing people together on different religions, different governmental organizations, nonprofits, education. It's a wonderful gathering of people from many different parts of the community. But what I found is it was easy to bring them together around this common concern of how do we build a nonviolent community. And this is, of course, the work you've been doing for years, which is building communities from the ground up.
And I think that on that note, so one part is the education and the other part is the organization. And this is why this conference is so important, because as people share the practices that they have in their own organizations, they can share these with others so that then we can, spread it, and then we could make it grow, and we can make it practical and make it easy for people to learn these behaviors and practices. Because we know it's not easy, because even with young people, if someone talks about nonviolence, they're made fun of. If men who want to be more caring, they're made fun of. So we've got to somehow say this is not only acceptable, but this has got to be a priority in everybody's lives. It's got to be something that we expect people to act in a civil way, in a nonviolent way. And if we can do it with our communities, then we can do it with our representatives, be it in the Congress or the city councils or school boards or whatever. We've got to say, no, this is a priority.
Yeah.
Bullying is wrong, you know what I mean? Meditation is great.
Yeah.
Conflict resolution is something that we can all learn.
Yeah.
But these are practices that we have to institute them so that they become institutionalized.
Yes. And I think that you were mentioning how people don't understand nonviolence. They make fun of it. They think it's a weakness. But what we can do in terms of sharing, our experiences and the wealth of knowledge and experience from people here is understanding that nonviolence draws on the power of truth and the power of love within us. It's not a passive injunction. I mean, I can't say that to you because you know it better than anyone, that nonviolence is not passivity, it's power.
Yes, it's active, like of course in the Indian word that Gandhi said, it's an active word in the Indian language. It's not, nonviolence is an active word, it's not a passive word. But it's more than that. I think it's a discipline.
Yes.
It's a discipline, whether it be fasting, for nonviolence, whether it be withholding one's anger, being able to turn that anger into a positive energy, whether it be the discipline in the way that we eat, in terms of vegetarianism to respecting animal life, in the way that we eat, knowing that we don't need to slaughter animals to be able to be healthy. We can be healthy without killing animals, and on and on. I think and that once people understand that these behaviors are okay and that they can practice them and people won't make fun of them, and you'll be looked at as a sissy or whatever. And then people have healthier lives, not only physically but mentally. And I think that's exactly where we have to start up here first, because if people believe that nonviolence is a power, and once that they have that belief, then they can then act upon that belief.
Yes, thank you very much. And of course, that's the beautiful example that you and Cesar gave us here, that many of us are so familiar with, of how to turn that self-discipline into a power that could actually change a situation where people were being treated unfairly. So always I bow to you, Dolores, and I'm so grateful that you're here with us.
Thank you, and I bow to you for having this conference and for your total commitment to nonviolence and to teaching it to other people, because I think that's a great thing that you do with these conferences that you have every year.
Welcome to the 8th Carry the Vision Community Nonviolence Conference. I'm Bob Weeks, a member of the Carry the Vision Board of Directors and your host for today.
On behalf of Father Michael Ing, our president, I want to welcome you to the campus of Santa Clara University. Your presence and your participation in this visionary conference is itself an act of faith, an act of courage, and an act of peacemaking. Our university is honored to count Carry the Vision as a partner in our own efforts to foster justice and promote the dignity of all, which includes an end to violence in our communities and our world. I'm especially gratified to have met so many religious leaders, and I know in a couple of minutes we'll have a procession of religious leaders representing a breadth of faith communities in our area. The presence of so many people from so many different congregations and religious traditions reminds me of Father Hans Kung's words that there can be no peace in the world unless there is a dialogue among religious bodies.
Hi, this is Ila, and I'm speaking to you from South Africa. Greetings to all of you. Today we celebrate the birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi, and we also celebrate the Day of Nonviolence. I think it is a wonderful combination because Gandhiji spent his life trying to build a culture of nonviolence. I think it's important for us to understand what really a culture of nonviolence means. To me, it doesn't mean just the absence of violence. It means much more than that. We have to build our own strengths, and we have to build our self-respect, and we have to learn a new way of life in which violence becomes redundant. I think the world has seen that violence is destructive. Lots of things have happened in the world that have actually had the effect of slowly destroying our planet. And our planet has become more and more fragile because of this. So today, more than ever before, we need to learn the ways of nonviolence. And I think it would take a long time for all of us to learn this, but this is the first step, and every step is an important milestone in people's lives. So I hope that today will be the first step in your life towards looking at how we can begin to lead a nonviolent way of life, how we can build a culture of nonviolence within ourselves, within our communities, within our families, and in the world. Thank you, and best wishes.
We welcome you on behalf of Civic, the Silicon Valley Interreligious Council.
Love destroys ill will. We should love all. We should act only through love. Thus alone shall we succeed. So long as we do not have unshakable faith in truth, love, and nonviolence, we can make no progress. Be fearless. Never, never give up truth and love.
I've titled my remarks today, Being Peace, the Thing Itself. Being Peace, the Thing Itself. Now, I've come to speak about the new superpowers: peace, nonviolence, and love. We are standing at a crossroads of life on earth. The fate of the world hangs by a slender thread, and that thread is the human psyche. That's what Carl Jung said. The fate of the entire human species is riding on your next decision. We've come from different backgrounds to initiate a consciousness of active nonviolence among youth and adults globally. The choices that we make now will create the future with which not only we, but our children will have to live and die. Now, the challenge is that you cannot have what you are not willing to be.
I can see sunshine, or I can see a storm. What do you choose? Now I choose to love where freedom lies. From my heart where the light keeps shining, I choose to feel the whole world crying for the strength that I can rise above. And I choose love. I choose love.
Hi, my name is Bella Delicio.
And I'm Iman Qureshi.
And we're both students from Archbishop Mitty High School attending this Carry the Vision conference. I personally went to the Youth Summit where we learned a lot of exercises about trust and connecting with others. We talked for 5 minutes, told our life stories, and we listened to each other, learned a lot about trust. We talked about dedication and commitment towards nonviolence. And we learned a lot about ourselves and each other and just let loose and have fun and really connect with each other.
And then I attended the meditation workshop with other students from our school as well as adults. And together we learned how to meditate, bring ourselves to center, and use that for nonviolence practices. We use our meditation and we practice it 3 or 4 times as well. We got to know each other in the classroom as well, and we worked to bring our meditation to something that we could bring into our lives every day, and we learned the techniques that we could use.
It's a joy to be with you today, and I offer my gratitude to all of you who have made this day possible. It is a day built by community. I want to begin with a question, really an invitation offered by His Holiness the Dalai Lama, which he says is the challenge that is placed before every thoughtful person today. Here it is. Today, the human soul asks the question, what can I do to preserve the beauty and the wonder of our world and to eliminate the anger and hatred and the disparity that inevitably causes it in the part of the world which I touch? What can I do to preserve the beauty and the wonder of our world and to eliminate the anger and hatred and the disparity that inevitably causes it in the part of the world which I touch? Please seek to answer that question today with all the magnificence that is you. His invitation really touches the heart of our work for nonviolence at Carry the Vision. And it touches it with the truth that we all have an important part to play. What we do with love, with compassion, with kindness, or what we do with hatred, with indifference, or with anger, has an effect in the moment that action is taken. And it also will have far-reaching effects that we may never, ever see or know. But what we can know is this: like produces like. What we can know is this: like produces like. Whatever seeds we sow with our thoughts, with our words, and our actions produce of their own kind. As we begin today, let's think about that. Let's consider the possibilities then that will blossom and bear fruit from this gathering and from the inspired actions of those who carry the vision of nonviolence into their daily lives.
Everybody, let's sing, 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 yeah, let freedom ring. Sing, sing, everybody, let's all join in. We're gonna do our thing. We're gonna make a better world to live in. Everybody, let's sing, 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 yeah, let freedom ring. Sing, 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 everybody, let's all join in. We're gonna do our thing. We're gonna make a better world to live in.
When we label people in a way that's going to ostracize them, that's going to marginalize them, that's going to blame them, it does lead to oppression, and ultimately it leads to violence. And there needs to be forgiveness, not violence, and there needs to be no labeling. Of course, some labeling is good. I was glad to see the Catholics showed up today. My tradition. There are good reasons to label things and people, but never, never in a way that will inspire retaliation or violence.
As you know, when behavior becomes not supported by all the other peers, it doesn't get the attention that you want, it begins to change. And I think that's so hopefully, what you had experienced, the kids begin to become the self-correctors too, to a certain extent. And hopefully they're doing it without being mean to each other, too. Were you going to add something to that?
Well, I'm just coming off a sort of really raw experience. I attended a presentation in Morgan Hill on Thursday night. It's called Rachel's Challenge. And Rachel was the first student killed at Columbine. Mm-hmm. And I have to tell you, you need to look at Morgan Hill. They've gone through a lot of really devastating experiences the last year or two in their own community, and the whole community is coming together. I'm telling you this because it's a reason for hope. The whole community, from the superintendent of schools to the Chamber of Commerce to the city council to the youth council and the middle schools and high schools, have come together to implement this program which is basically starting a chain reaction of kindness. And it'll be interesting to see what happens over the next year in their community and in their schools. But I think that this is what's needed, is the whole community, which is what Cornerstone preaches, needs to come together. And so there may not be a program, there may not be a word or an answer, but it's basically, I think, everyone working as an individual to affect the community, to come together on this issue.
And what gives me hope is these 5 people up here, the Silicon Valley Interschool Council, who's the youth driving this work to have a one kind pledge, and just all the fact that you are here and you are caring and compassionate people. There was several years ago when my 15-year-old was in elementary school, I was on the site council and I brought up a bullying issue at the site council, and the response was, well, can't really do anything about that. Kids will be kids. And that school now has Project Cornerstone. And in spite of even that, my son's class, he's now a sophomore in high school, is probably one of the most compassionate group of teenagers. So they found in themselves that, some kind of ability to care for each other and not, I'm sure there's probably some, as is often around, some relational aggression going on, but they seem to really be looking out for each other. There's an Ethiopian proverb that I love that states, when spider webs unite, they can tie up a lion. And I think if we think of ourselves as those spider webs, we can tie up this lion and make it be calm and go away in terms of that bullying.
We need a kinder, gentle world, and this is a conference that's designed to show people how to actually make a kinder and gentler world by having instruction on various concepts. And it would really benefit our valley to do that. We need to have a more peaceful environment for everybody and all the families here. And that's why I'm very strongly supporting Carry the Vision and the programs that they have here today. Carry the Vision is the leading program in our county, and so Gandhi says, be the change you want to see in the world. So be the change you want to see in the world. So it's my honor to recognize Carry the Vision, and we have a resolution, a beautiful, I'd like to present Reverend O'Brien this for being the champion. Reverend O'Brien, thank you very much. Thank you for leading us to carry our vision in Santa Clara County. Thank you.
Well, I'm here because, it seems pretty fun, meeting, famous people, like Dolores Huerta. She worked with Cesar Chavez, so I would like to, meet her, and talk about, about my program, which I'm going to do today. It's a great experience, coming out, meeting, people and getting connections, if you need stuff like that. It's the best thing, ever.
Hi, I'm Richard Hernandez. I'm one of the youth here who attended the youth conference. I'm just here to talk a little bit about the experiences that I gained here. I'm 18. I'm one of the youth who grew up in trouble. I'm part of the Kids in Common. I just want to let you guys know that this is a learning experience for me. Changed a lot of kids' life in here. This idea right here to get everybody culture mix and stuff like that. It benefits a lot of kids in here.
Hello, my name is Kyle Knight. I'm here at Carry the Vision Conference 2012. I would like to just express how much I love this conference. All the love here brings me to tears, and this is something that's so great for the world. I'd like to see Carry the Vision in every city. That's my hope and dream. And you, the people of this world, deserve to love yourself enough to love others and not be in violence with each other. So if we are ever in violence with somebody or causing harm to somebody else, it's really to ourselves, since we're all one. Thank you so much.
I'm so happy to be here once again at the Carry the Vision Nonviolence Conference. My name is Ash Kalra. I'm a San Jose City Council member, and I'm here because what's happening here today and what happens throughout the year in carrying the vision of this conference throughout the year is what we all need to do to heal our community, to make our community stronger, and to find ways to use nonviolent means to cooperate with each other amongst faiths, amongst communities, to help ensure that all of our children are educated, that all the people in our community are fed, and that we live peacefully together. And we've tried for many centuries, the war, the violence, that doesn't work. What we do know that absolutely works is nonviolence and love. And so we're here today to share ideas on how we can actually practice in our everyday life using nonviolence, using love, using peace, but using it in order to create positive action. It's not passiveness, it's action. And so being here today, there are great tools that we have in talking with each other that we can learn, and most importantly, there's a great vibrant energy that we have from loving people. And so I'm just excited to be here once again. I look forward to carrying with me every day throughout this next year the lessons learned here today and living my life in a nonviolent fashion. Thank you.
you.